Hi friends, let's create AI agents to manage calendar. But why do we want to do that? Let's imagine we have a new customer lead and we have a sales agent. The sales agent takes the lead details, research about the customer, and if it finds a good fit based on certain criteria, for example, the number of employees, the revenue of the company, etc., and if it finds a good fit, we want the agent to book a meeting with the customer automatically. Another scenario could be we want an agent to monitor our email, and if there is an important email, we would like we would want to book a meeting. Okay, so there are a number of scenarios you can imagine where we want agent to book calendar meetings, right? So today we will use three different frameworks: CrewAI, LangChain, Llama Index, etc., to do different things. For example, finding out the free slots in our calendar, booking meetings, finding if we have any meetings on a given day, etc. And we can do rescheduling, updating, modifying, etc. But we will take these three examples and we will implement them using these three frameworks. Now, as we discussed in previous videos, an agent requires two things at the very minimum. One is an LLM to think and act, and the second one is tools to take the action, right? So the LLM acts as a brain to the agent, and then the agent uses tools to perform action. Now we use LLMs via APIs, right? The real development thing is building these tools. Okay, so we need to build a bunch of tools to be able to do certain things on our calendar. We will be using a framework called Composio. It's an excellent open source framework where they developed over 300 tools. As you can see from here, we can do a number of actions related to, for example, GitHub, Google Calendar, Google Sheets, Twitter, so many databases, Notion, Outlook, so on and so forth. So here you can see there are database tools like HubSpot, etc. as well. Okay, and the Airtable, Asana, so on and so forth. So sign up, it's free, and create an API key and save it into your environmental variables. And then under apps, go to integration, which is where you find all these tools. Now we want to work with calendar. So let's search for calendar. All right, here we have Google Calendar, and then set up calendar integration and click here. It will take you to your Gmail login page where you provide access to your Google Calendar. Okay, once you have provided access, we are good to go. Okay, first let's find out what free slots I have in my calendar, and we will use CrewAI as a framework. All right, so from CrewAI we import agent, task, and crew. That's the standard. And then using Composio CrewAI, we'll import this action Composio toolset, using which we can access the tools. Okay, all right, so instantiate this Composio toolset. Now there are two ways to access the tools. Now when we say the calendar tool or the app, we can do a bunch of tasks, right? For example, here we might want to find free slots in the calendar. We want to create an event. We want to cancel a meeting booked or reschedule or update details, so on and so forth, right? So what we can do is using this Composio toolset, get tools, we can either provide an app as it is done here. So here we are specifying the app Google Calendar. Okay, so all the tools relevant to Google Calendar we are accessing here. Okay, so for example, here we have all these some 10 plus calendar related tools. Now if we want to access a very specific tool, this is how it looks like. Instead of app, we would choose actions. Okay, so the action we are choosing is Google Calendar find free slots. Okay, so when we choose an app, these tools, we have these 10 plus tools. Now if you look at for example the first tool, which is find free slots, here we have Google Calendar find free slots. Now it takes two arguments. So basically we are trying to find the free slots between a start date and an end date. So this tool takes two arguments, the time min and the time max. Okay, all right, you can go through all the details. Now the Composio UI, it's excellent. I'll show you here. Once you have integration with a bunch of tools, for example, here I have with a bunch of tools, click on your calendar, and then under actions, it will show you what are all the things we can do, okay, for deleting an event, etc. Now what you do is click on one of the events, and here you will see the schema. So this tool, it takes two arguments, the calendar ID, that's an optional. If you have connected to multiple calendars, you need to provide the calendar ID, but if you're connected to only one calendar, it is optional. But it needs an event ID so that it can delete that particular event ID. So this is a required parameter. And here we have the output schema. Now here, we can provide our task in natural language here. For example, hey, delete this event from tomorrow, like that, right? Then you click on generate, and it will figure out the parameters the tool takes, okay? Actually, let me show you this create event, which has more parameters, so it will become easier for you. Okay, so let's look at the schema. As you can see, it has many optional parameters, but one mandatory parameter, which is the start date time, okay? The start date time. And here we have this output schema. Now let's see what happens. Create a meeting at 6 p.m. tomorrow for 1 hour on AI agents, okay? Now let's click generate. So as you can see, all these parameters are empty to begin with. Now from this one, it has inferred we want a meeting tomorrow, which is the 1st of March, and it is 6 p.m., which is 18. And then we want the meeting for 1 hour. Okay, so the summary, the meeting is about AI agents. And then we should have, okay, event duration, that's 1 hour, okay? So when we interact with the agent, we will be giving the tasks in natural language. That's where we will be using the LLMs, and the LLM will figure out what are all the input parameters required from our task description and provide those parameters to the AI agent, okay? And here they also provide code snippets as well. Now let's get back to our code. Okay, so let's access only find free slots tool. Okay, here we have access the tools. Now let's create a Crew AI agent. Now if you have worked with Crew AI, this is how we create the agent. We simply give it a role, a goal, some backstory, and a bunch of tools. In this case, we are providing only one tool, and the LLM GPT-4o Mini. Now this task is very simple. So what we have for the goal backstory doesn't matter that much. We are giving a very generic description, simply saying you are an AI agent that is responsible for taking actions based on the tools you have. But if it is a more complex task, you give as informative goal and backstory as possible so that the agent can select the right tool for different tasks it executes. All right, here we have created an agent. Now we are creating a task. Okay, so we want to find free slots, right? So this tool takes two parameters, as we just saw, starting time and the ending time, or the min time or the max time. But we are not going to provide those variables. We will be leveraging LLMs. We will be describing our task in a very human natural language. So all I am saying is, what are the free slots available on this date? Okay, I did not specify explicitly the starting time and the ending time. Okay, I simply asked what are the free slots available today, which is this 2025 28th of February. I'm in this AEST time zone. Okay, so we create task and we create crew and we have executed the crew. All right, so it does its job, and finally it came up with this response. So it is saying I have two slots available. The first one starting with the beginning of the day, which is this midnight to 7 p.m. And then I have another free slots available from 8 p.m. until the midnight. Okay, so it seems like today I'm not available only between 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Let's see if that's the right one. All right, so here we are, 28th of February. So as you can see here, all my calendar is empty except 7 to 8 a.m. Sorry, 7 to 8 a.m. Now I have another meeting here, but this meeting is booked after running this agent. Okay, so the agent has correctly found out that except 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. the rest of the day I am free. Okay, all right, now that we found the free slots, let's book a meeting using LangChain. Okay, all right. Okay, so we will create an event. So again, creating the basic agents is super simple in any framework, including LangChain, Llama Index, small agents, etc., LangGraph. Okay, all right. So from LangChain agents, we are importing this create OpenAI functions agent, and then for the LLMs, we will be using OpenAI, and then from the hub, we will be accessing the prompt. So here we have explicitly stated these prompts, right? This system / agent prompts. And here LangChain, they have compiled a bunch of prompts for different tasks or the agent types, and they host it at this hub so that we can easily access. All right, and similar to Composio Crew AI, here this time we will be using Composio LangChain to import the same modules. Okay, the most important one is obviously this Composio toolset, and then depending on whether we want to access the full app or certain number of tools, either app or action. Okay, again, instantiate this Composio toolset, and then let's access the tools. So this time we are using actions, which means we will be accessing only one tool, not all the 10 plus tools related to the calendar. Okay, and notice the difference. Here we set apps is equal to app.google calendar, whereas here we are saying actions. This time Google Calendar create event, because we want to book a meeting. Okay, all right, so here is the prompt. You can just print the prompt and see it's a standard prompt, and we have an LLM, and we create an agent with LLM and tools. We create this agent executor. That's just how OpenAI LangChain want us to run the agents. Now here is the task. Okay, so we are saying create a 1 hour meeting event at 6 p.m. this Australian Eastern Standard Time. Again, the date is today, regarding agents project. Now I tried with saying today instead of giving the date, but the LLM and the agent, they do not know what the date of today. So if we provide additional tool which can let the LLM know what the date today, we can use today, tomorrow, such type of thing, instead of next week, etc., instead of a particular date. Okay, all right, so create a 1 hour meeting at 6 p.m. 28th of February. All right, let's see what it does. Now I'll not go over all this, but as you can see here, create 1 hour meeting, blah 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 blah, and as you can see the output, it says I have successfully created 1 hour meeting event regarding the agent project on February so and so forth, etc. Now let's go back to our calendar. This is the meeting the agent has created between 6 to 7 p.m. again on the 28th February related to agent projects. So as I mentioned before, I created this meeting after finding out what free slots I have. Okay, so the first agent output says except 7 to 8 a.m. I am free throughout the day. Okay, all right, so the second one is done. Now that we have created a meeting, let's see, let's find out what are all the meetings we have. Now for this one, let's use Llama Index framework. Very similar to how we did Crew AI LangChain, but this time again we want to access LLMs. We want to create a tool, we want to create an agent. So this time in Llama Index, we will be using function calling agent. All right, same as before, Composio Llama Index. So for every framework, they have made the necessary changes to the base tools so that the tools work with any framework we choose. Okay, all right, again use Composio toolset. This time our action is Google Calendar find event. Okay, we are going to find the events, whereas in the first case we have found the free slots available. Okay, here is an LLM, and here is our system message or system prompt. Okay, and then here we have created the agent, supplied the LLM as well as the tools along with the system prompt. This one is very important. Every agent takes this argument. The argument may be called with different names like max steps, max function calls, etc. But it is very important we set this to a finite value. I mean, by default also most of the frameworks has a value of 10, but depending on your task, set a lower value. Otherwise the LLM might go in an infinite loop. All right, we have created an agent. Now let's invoke the agent. So this time my task is very simple. Do I have any events on, again today, which is 28th February, use this time zone. All right, so here we have the response. Now let's say what the agent says. So here is the final response, and it's saying today I have 2 events. The first event is from 7 to 8 a.m. this Australian Melbourne time. It's test, and the second event is agents project meeting, which is the one we just created in the previous step using another agent, and this one is to discuss updates and progress on agent projects. Let's check our calendar one more time. So this is this meeting. All right, so to summarize, Composio is an excellent framework. They have built over 300 tools, and they made it very easily available. And today we looked at the calendar tools using which we did a bunch of things like finding the free slots, booking meetings, finding out what meetings we have, using 3 different frameworks like CrewAI, LangChain, LlamaIndex, etc. If you find this content helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. That's all for this video. Thank you very much. And in the coming videos, we will be creating multiple agents. For example, as I mentioned, we want an agent to read our email, and if it's important, book schedule a meeting, right? So in the next video, we will create 2 agents. One agent to access our Gmail and understand the email, and if it's important, we call the second agent to book the meeting. Okay, so we will build workflows using multiple agents, work with multiple tools to complete the tasks. Thank you very much.